sang this song to me. There was a message in his melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be.
Greetings to everyone who's watching this now. You know, as I was sitting there grooving with Teresa Griffin singing, everything's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight and joining me with my guest, Toni Stevens. So I always have to do this housekeeping. You all know I'm really bad at this, and my marketing coach does not like that. So we're going to have to make her happy. So the podcasts are on YouTube, so you can go out to YouTube and watch those. You can go to my website, champagneconnection.com. There's a lot of little free things for you to have. So these are some things that you can work on to try to improve your life, or to make sure that you know exactly where you want to end up in this life. Okay. So with that being said, I always want to thank RISE. RISE, Resource Industrial Supply Equipment, has been being our sponsors for 5 years now. And I want to thank them for sticking in here with us and to allowing us to be able to do the things that we do, and especially to talk about the topics that we talk about on A Sip of Inspiration, because A Sip of Inspiration is meant to help anyone who's listening find some way to have a great life, some way to solve a problem that you're having, and or to get in contact with someone who can help you have a problem. Because I believe that all of us were sent here to do something special. And some of us just probably forgotten. So we're going to make sure that we remind you all the time. So joining me today is Toni Stevens. And I've got a little bio for her that I want to read. And I love this bio. Toni Stevens is a healer and an energy coach. She specializes in helping others create calm confidence and deep connection to yourself. Her passion is guiding others in reducing symptoms of stress, burnout, anxiety, and overwhelm. She also helps with healing the wounds of childhood trauma, family, and cultural conditioning. And I know everybody has some need for at least one of these things. So thank you, Toni, for joining me today. I really appreciate having you, and I want to thank you for the work that you do to help everyone live their best life.
Oh, thank you. That was a beautiful introduction.
So, and she lives in Australia, you guys. So, and I just thought about that. You know, many of us haven't been to Australia, and you could probably book a session and then take a vacation over there and do something very cool. So I know people ask you this question all the time, but I'm going to be one of those people. So what led you to become a healer and an energy coach?
Well, I felt it was kind of a calling because I started being interested in meditation from when I was really young. My religion teacher in high school actually introduced our class to meditation on a retreat. And I was like, this is like the best. I just love the journey, the inner journey. And ever since then, I was just really, really interested in spirituality and learning about the different mythology and religion and what people believe about the universe and life. I was just really, really fascinated and really curious. And I just kept up my meditation practice at home as well.
Okay, so can you share a pivotal moment from your own healing journey that shaped your work today?
Yes, I think this happened when I first was diagnosed with anxiety when I was in my early 20s. I was 23. and I was having really, really bad anxious symptoms. So, like brain fog, nausea, headaches, gut pain, extreme exhaustion, not being able to make good decisions. And yeah, I didn't know what's wrong with me. I never heard of like mental health or like anxiety. Just I suppose like 25 years ago, like 25, 23, I don't know, something like that. It was, it just was really taboo, like mental health, and it wasn't spoken about. So I didn't even know what it was that I was experiencing. And when I went to the doctor, she was really lovely. And, we did the heart test because, people with anxiety, they normally go in for like, I think I'm having a heart attack, with the chest pain. And so that's all clear. And then, you've got anxiety, and explained it a little bit. And I was just like, it was just like this, this penny dropped. I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Like, I never knew like that, the body mind connection was so powerful. Like, I had an idea, because I was studying traditional Chinese medicine and shiatsu at the time. So I had an idea, but it wasn't like, it just blew me away that the mind-body connection is so powerful. And in that moment, the doctor was like, oh, the prescription is antidepressants, and that was it. And then like, go away and read this book, The Little Black Dog, which we have, the Black Dog Institute here in Australia. And I read this, this short little introduction book on mental health. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I can deal with that. No problem. I can just go away and do my work to calm myself and calm my mind. And that just felt like a really empowering moment for me.
How did you get, I guess, introduced to energy and Reiki?
It was about similar time. So okay. I was studying shiatsu and Chinese medicine, and the teachers were like, feel the chi flowing. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they suggested I go and study a Reiki course. So I did, and I was absolutely blown away. I just loved it. It just confirmed for me everything about life that I felt to be true, that we are all made from energy, that we are all connected. Like it's one love, one connected, one consciousness, that we are all connected intimately with this beautiful relationship of energy.
Oh, wow. That is fantastic, because we are all connected to everything that way. So for those who may be new to Reiki, how would you describe it and how does it work?
So Reiki in Japanese translates to life force energy or God energy or spirit energy. So if, I say life force energy is like the energy from the universe, from the cosmos, whatever you believe in, if you have this idea of, spiritual energy in the universe. And I'm basically connecting with that energy and channeling it through my crown chakra, down through my body and out of my hands. And we have little chakras in our hands, energy centers in our hands. And so I'm just channeling that energy like a clear channel. I connect with it. Yeah, okay. And so it's not me that's doing it. It is the energy itself that's coming through. So I do like hands-on healing, or I can do distance healing as well, which is just as powerful as hands-on healing. And so what I'm doing is I'm feeling the energy from the other person's body, as well as giving, channeling the energy through. I'm also feeling the energy with my hands. So you would have heard of the clairs, like in French, we've got clairsentience, clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance. So those psychic abilities is what they're known as. So I have clear feeling, which is clairsentience. So when I, put my hands on something, I can feel the energy and it just gives me information. So yeah, when I'm working on someone, whether it's in person or, online, I can like tune into their chakra energy and like feel what's happening for them. And it feels like a beautiful, relaxing experience where you are connecting into the energy or the spirit in your body, and just remembering, because we often forget that we are a spiritual being as well. When we're so busy in our day-to-day lives being this physical, human being, we forget how beautiful that can be to just be, energy.
So in this busy day that we have, and I don't care where you live and what you're doing, you have a busy day, it seems. How can we stop to make sure that we do feel that energy? Because we just keep going and going and going, like we're running a race.
We do. Yeah, good question. So what I teach people is to really come back into their body and to learn to listen to the signs and the symptoms, the messages that our body is talking to us. So this is the work that I love talking about, is about emotional empowerment. And it's just basically coming back to basics with what emotions actually are. They're just an energetic charge that shows up in the body, right? So
Right.
we might feel stress as, a physical symptom. It might be you've got a racing heart, or your mind is like really, really busy and you can't stop thinking. Maybe you can't focus or concentrate. It might be some of the symptoms, right? So just noticing those signs and symptoms that are showing up in your body, and it's just listening to your body always. So then you can know, okay, what do I need right now in this moment?
Now, you say listening to your body. So some people are asking, how do I listen to my body? It doesn't talk. So help those who are listening know how they can actually listen to their body.
Yeah. So we do this by just being aware or conscious of our senses. So we have six senses. So we have our sight, our sound, our taste, our smell, our touch, and our feeling, and our mind. So our mind is a part of our body. We often think that our mind is a separate part of ourselves, but it is, in fact, our brain and part of our body. And so what we're doing is we're just becoming aware of those senses and what's happening, what's going on for us. So and we all have a stronger sense, don't we, that we use. So some people might be visual. So looking at you, Dr. Stephanie, I would say that you're probably a really visual person, and that probably is a powerful place for you to use that sense. And so if you're visual, just like things that might bother you and annoy you might be if things are out of place, or if you're not wearing the right matching colors, right? Things need to be like in the ducks in a row kind of thing, right? And beauty would be really important in your life. So we all have a stronger sense. So noticing, what's bothering me at the moment, and what's the sense that's bothering me. So for me, being a feeling person or a touch person, right, it might be I don't like the feel of this situation, or I don't like the energy or the vibe of what's going on there, or what's going on in me, or in this relationship, or at work, or whatever it might be. But I describe my feelings as I describe my experience as a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I use those words, right? So it might be the energy, the vibe, the feeling, the touch, whatever it is. So as a visual person, it might be I see what's going on, or I noticed that, like, so using those kinds of words, oh, I'm looking at this, right? So they're kind of signs as well that you are more visual, and that's going to be a stronger sense for you. So just noticing what is bothering you. So they're like the symptoms and the signs, right? When we're listening to our body, what is bothering us, and how do we experience that discomfort? So if you're an auditory person, like if sound is really important to you, then it might be someone's tone of voice. It might be, like a criticism that those people don't like. It might be loud music. It might be squealing children or animals, So there's some things that can bother people if they're an auditory person. Or that extra noise in life that, we have.
Okay. And everyone has something. So, and that's what we need to pay attention to, what that something is. Because sometimes we just don't know, because we think that everyone is the same, but they're not the same, It's like, and when you look around, it's like you're treating everyone the same, but no, it's like little Johnny likes this and this one likes this, right? And we don't pay attention to that anymore after a certain I guess a certain age, when it's always important all through our lives, because it gives us great keys. So thank you for that. Thank you. So when you have a Reiki session, since a lot of people are sort of afraid of these kinds of techniques. And I like these sessions, you all. So don't tell me how I love them. Okay, I think they're so walk us through a typical session so that people can know what to expect, because some people need to know what to expect. I kind of like some surprises, but some people like to know what to expect.
Okay, so in starting, like every healer is different, and we all have our own, like, unique experiences and unique abilities that we bring to our sessions. So like I said, I'm clairsentient, so that's my special, my specialness. And other healers might be clairaudient or clairvoyant, so they would have different skills and abilities that they bring to the session. But with me, just coming in, we have a chat first for about like 5-10 minutes, just talking about what's going on for you and how your energy is feeling. So how does your energy feel in your physical body? Is there any pain, discomfort, or blocks that you're noticing? Are there any problem areas in your life like that you're feeling stuck in, and you would like help releasing and resolving that? So we talk about that, and then I get you on the table, take your shoes off. I've got a nice comfy blanket on the massage table and cushions and bolsters, so you're all like cozy and comfortable. And I have some beautiful healing music playing as well, just kind of describing as like, angelic, beautiful, like singing and music. So closing your eyes, I always start at the feet and then finish at the feet, because grounding is really, really important to me. And you know what grounding is?
Yes, I do. I know what grounding is. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I like to do, and I'm not a Reiki healer, is I like feet. So everyone in my family knows that we're going to take their socks off. We're going to massage their feet.
I love that. I love feet too.
I love it. And they don't know why. And then they say, oh, that felt so good. It's like, yes, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love feet too. So yeah, grounding is where we bring our energy back down to our feet and back into our body. So a lot of people, when we're stressed or overwhelmed or depressed, I call it disconnection. So our energy is actually up here. If we're stressed, you would notice that it's like this energy gets stuck around our head. And so what we're doing is we're bringing that energy back down into the body. So just reconnecting you to your body, where you can feel safe again and experience life fully. Because if our focus and attention is out here, we're not really experiencing life in our body, getting that full experience. So that's why I always start with the feet and do the grounding first. And it just helps people, feel really confident and safe. And that's, I really pride myself on making people feel really safe and comforted, like this mother kind of energy, right? You're coming in for a session with me. I want you to feel safe and loved right now, because you are a beautiful child of the universe, and you have that, you have that right to feel safe and comforted. And so yeah, that's what grounding does, right? It also just, connects you to the energy of the earth, but I'm not going to go there right now. But yeah, safe in our body. And then I work up through the chakras.
Okay.
So, we have 7 chakras or energy centers in the body, and they all represent and, focus the energy on different areas of our lives. And yeah, so I would go through and I would feel the energy, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for balance, and I'm wanting to create that balance in the energy system. So I might feel, a chakra, and it might feel full or empty, or it might feel like frantic or manic or really heavy. So that's just the kind of feeling that I'm getting under my hand, right, as I'm feeling it. And so I know that there's some energy there that either needs releasing or it needs replenishing. So that's what I would do, like working on those areas. And so if there's an area that I find is really stuck and it's not shifting really easily, I will help talk the person through that energy and feel into their body and really bring their awareness and attention to that energy in their body, because they have been ignoring it or avoiding it. And, we don't want to look at it, right? So
Right.
I just help bring their attention to it, and then that helps the releasing process.
So how long are your sessions? How long should the customer expect to be there?
Yep, so an hour.
Okay. Oh God, that's wonderful. An hour. That's wonderful. Yeah.
It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And you just feel so like light is the word, that people often get up and they're like, wow, like that just feels amazing. I feel so light now,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the feeling. You feel so light, right? So when you're dealing with the unhealed childhood trauma, are you working on certain points or places in the body, or the whole body, or are you working in the whole body? And how does the client feel afterwards?
So when I'm working with childhood trauma, I would normally save that for the therapeutic coaching, the deep healing and coaching work that I do with people. So that is more of a talking therapy that works with people, like to release that energy somatically from the body, but also resolve it, cognitively in their mind as well, because we have that link, that we're holding on to an energy. So in a Reiki session, it's more of a somatic from the body release. So it's not like working with our thoughts or our beliefs so much, but it still has amazing shifts for us. But we're just not going into that, like the deeper thought or belief process, that block stuff that we struggle with.
So it sounds like it's best to have it done, to have both done, because you've got to get it out of your head and you still need to get it out of your body. So it sounds like it's best to have them both done.
Yeah. So in the EMPR work that I do and the NLP work, that deep healing and coaching work, it does like talk people through that shift,
Mm-hmm.
like helping them to shift and release that energy from their body as well. So it's got both. But yeah, Reiki, I love Reiki because it's just so simple and beautiful, and you don't have to think, right? You just have to feel.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to decide that this is what you wanted to do? And what was there a trigger that made you want to do this?
Well, when I left school, I went to art school. So I would have been like 19. I went to university and studied visual art. And when I was doing that, a lot of my work was based on the mind-body connection and like, you know, our inner journey and our, the journey of life. And when I was like going through creating this artwork, I was like, oh, actually, I might be really interested in some kind of alternative therapy, like some kind of mind-body, you know, connection. And so as soon as I finished that degree, I just went and found something that I thought was a really holistic place that really dive into. So yeah, I was pretty young, like I was 21 when I started. Yeah, and I found shiatsu and traditional Chinese medicine, which was a beautiful blend of the body work, you know, shiatsu is like acupressure, the body work and the the theory behind it as well.
So do you combine all of those in one session, or you decide which one is the best for that particular client?
So no, they get to choose for themselves.
Okay, they get to choose for themselves. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't do that shiatsu body work anymore. I used to do massage as well, but I don't do that anymore. But that's how I started off in it. And then as I, you know, was working people on their body, I realized that there's so much more to just working on, you know, more than just giving a massage. You know, there's more involved in the stress and the pain that people carry in their body. And so I was just really curious and fascinated to learn more about that. So that sparked that interest of, you know, let's go in deeper here, because, you know, when we have a pain in our shoulder, you know, or wherever we have a pain, like it always starts as an emotional pain. And so that's where I like to work, in the deeper layers.
So has there been any situation that you found difficult or needed more treatment than you expected it would have?
Working with my clients?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anybody who yeah, of course. Like we all have, you know, layers and layers of you know, experiences in life. And so when you start, you know, some people say this spiritual journey of awakening is like, you know, it's like going down the rabbit hole, because you can just keep like, you know, falling into like more and more you know, of the shadow and the healing that needs to be done. But then it gets easier, right? As we become better at recognizing things in ourselves. And so what I really like to do with people is empower people with the tools that they can go away and do this themselves. So it's not just, you know, oh, you're coming to me and after like 6 weeks, you're going to be, you know, fully healed and you're going to be a completely different person. You know, yes, it is a transformational experience in working through some big things and letting them go and resolving them. But I also am teaching people the skills and some really amazing tools that they can go away and do at home for themselves every day. So they can keep working on themselves, because, you know, our life isn't, you know, oh, we have one challenge in our lives and that's it, is it? Like we always have challenges and obstacles that come up every day, and it's about having the skills and the tools to work through those challenges so that life becomes easier. Yeah.
So using the techniques, and then you're setting up your clients so that they can do it themselves. So how does that work for most of them? Or do you find that they want to come back so that you can do it for them?
Most of them I find are really good at it. If they stop doing the work, then they'll probably get stuck again. But yeah, I find like they feel really empowered to just go out and be able to manage their problems on their own, which is amazing.
So the emotional freedom techniques, do you use those in your practices too? The tapping?
No, not that. No. I use a technique called the EMPR method, which is a relatively new method. It was my teacher is an Adelaide lady who came up with the course. It stands for Emotion Memory Pattern Release Method. So it's a blend of psychological background, theory, and then somatic release and the cognitive
A bird sang this song to me.
I'm sorry, that was an accident. It looks like this machine wanted to hear that song again. Okay. It's like you can never know what the universe is up to. Okay, so back to healing. So no emotional freedom techniques. You like the other ones better. And I know there's so many techniques out there.
There is, yeah.
And so if you find one that works, I guess you should stick to that one that works. And how often should someone do the healing techniques at home? Sometimes people don't know. So you do it every day, you do it once a week, or they just keep coming back to you. They just don't know.
Yeah. So the tools that I teach people are the three M's. I keep it really simple. The 3 M's. If you do these things every day, you'll feel really good. So they are meditation, mindset, and movement.
So meditation. So how long should people meditate? What do you do? How do you get started and all of that? People are always, it seems like you go online, there's always a new way to meditate. So
yeah, so it's, I was talking about like your strongest sense. It's finding something that suits you, right? So, but I always say 5 minutes a day is a great place to start. But in that first 5 minutes, we're really going to battle with our energy, with our mind and our body, because our body will want to get up and do something, and our mind just wants to keep on like chatting, right? So 5 minutes is a good start. So that will help you just bring some calm to your nervous system. And 5 minutes is good. But if you want to go deeper than that, then go another 5 minutes. All right. And so if you're enjoying that, you will probably sit longer, because it would be such a beautiful, blissful experience. The inner journey that we take with ourselves. So if you sit for 5, it's good work. You're going to like calm the nervous system down. You're working on like training the brain and calming the body. And if you go longer, you're going to go have a really amazing experience.
Yeah, I set a timer for 15 minutes, and then when it comes, it's like, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
I'll sit there for an hour and I'll be like, what? An hour's up already? Like it felt like 5 minutes.
Yes. And I guess like most people, I used to sit there and just wait for something to happen, and then nothing was happening. And then one day I said, I'm just going to enjoy this. You know what I mean? And I did. And before I knew it, it's like, it was 30 minutes. I didn't even hear it go off at 15 or 20. So, yeah, so everyone should literally should do meditation.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes, that'll work. But you're right, it does ground you. It relaxes you. It's amazing. I can't even describe just how
It's so powerful and
yeah,
so
how
simple,
powerful
right?
it is.
Yeah. And we're
So,
so stressed like these days. Everyone like has stress, right? The pressure of this modern life, the information that's constantly, we're being bombarded with. We don't get a break. We don't get a minute. So carving that time out for yourself and making it a priority is so important, and the benefits are just like amazing. So to answer your question before, like how people do it and using their senses. So if you're a visual person, um, something like, you can do open eye meditation as well, which is great for beginners. So they can, because, when we close our eyes, we get so bombarded with our thoughts. It's hard to really concentrate. So if we start with open eye meditation, that's really powerful. So you can use a candle and just do candle gazing. Or if you're out at a lunch break, right, you could sit out and look at the sky and the trees, or the clouds. So cloud gazing, tree gazing. Or, you can just focus on anything. So we call it a single pointed meditation practice. It's just focusing on one object. So whether that's the candle, the clouds, the trees, a crystal, a photo, your hand, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It can be a spot on the floor. It can be, what was I going to say then? No, I forgot. Or if you're closing your eyes, a visual person, you might concentrate on your third eye area, and you might want to visualize, a white circle or a blue flower or something, just something that you can focus on rather than like, oh, I'm sitting here doing nothing, right? Because we're not sitting here doing nothing. We're actually doing something. We're training our brain. So when we're doing that thing, we're training our brain to like calm down and listen to us so that we become the master of ourselves and not our monkey mind.
okay. Okay, so what happens, because a lot of people close their eyes and then they, like, I see colors, but some people say they don't see anything. So what should they focus on because they think they need to see something?
You can focus on, so if you're a touch or a feeling person, like a kinesthetic person, you might prefer to focus on your breath
Okay.
instead of like a visual thing.
Mhm.
So it might be I'm focusing on a breath in my belly or my chest, like focusing on breathing into the chest or into the belly or a different body part. Or you might focus on the air that's coming in, through your nose. So that is some different things that you can focus on. If you're a auditory person and sound is really important to you, you might focus on the sounds around you, or you might put on some kind of sound meditation, like just not a guided one, because that's a different experience, although they are very good. I do suggest doing just the single pointed meditation that you can do yourself anywhere, and you don't need a phone or some kind of machine to get you there. But yeah, like the sound of nature, the sound of birds, or the sound of what's going on around you. Or you can even repeat a mantra in your mind as a form of single focus meditation.
See, now Toni has made meditation very, very easy now. So I want you guys to think about that. So if you need to focus on something, pick something to focus on. Okay.
Yeah.
And she even allows you to start with 5 minutes so that you can get used to it. So, and these techniques actually are very good for you. I mean, I've been meditating for a while, and it is amazing what comes to you and how it comes to you. And I didn't expect it. Like sometimes, you have a problem during the day and then you just meditate at night on just nothing, and then all of a sudden the next 2 days or so, you get a solution because you actually allow your mind to rest and allow you to go inside where the answers are. And
Yeah,
yeah,
perfect.
right. And we just don't do enough of that. We really don't do enough of that. And she gives you permission to do 5 minutes. So if you do that, that would be wonderful. I do 20 minutes. And if I don't stop at 20 minutes, then I'm going to be there the rest of the day. So
That's right.
because when you get used to the quiet and the calm and what's happening, you really don't want to stop.
Yeah, so true. So
Yeah.
beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, it is absolutely wonderful. So everyone should try it. So everyone listening, I want you to do this 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day. Okay. I remember reading a book of Jose Silva who talked about meditation, and he would recommend 15 minutes a day. But he says, no, but start at 5 minutes. Please start at 5 minutes. So everyone recommends that. So there's got to be good for us. So make Toni proud and start to at least meditate for 5 minutes a day, because we want you to be able to take care of yourself and your emotions and all the other things that are that's in you. People don't realize that they have as much past trauma in their lives as they do. So how do you help them embrace that?
Yeah, so it is again about connecting back into the body.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that we can feel safe in our body. It's the most important thing, because a lot of people come to me and they're stressed or overwhelmed or disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're really not trusting what's coming through in their body. They're not trusting their pain. They're not trusting their feelings. They're feeling confused because, generally as a society, as a culture, we're not told to trust those things. We're more told to put our trust in our mind.
That's true.
And be logical and, which common sense is very important and logic is very important. But, we should be trusting our feelings. And when we do that, we can then make better decisions for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we can trust our own body, and that includes our mind as well, then we can make better decisions for ourselves. If we are feeling stressed or unsafe because of our childhood experiences, and they, when we talk about trauma, they can be big or they can be small things, right? Mm-hmm. So they're just our experience, and the things that have impacted us deeply are what I label as trauma. Okay, so it might be, there was an accident, right, that had a deep impact on you in that moment, or it could be, like I was told off by my mom. And that was a really deeply impactful moment when I was a child. And when we have these big impactful moments, these traumatic events, they give us this really strong feeling, and the body holds on to that feeling as a protection mechanism. And then we also have a thought about ourselves or about the world or about others. And in that moment, we create a belief about ourselves or about the world. And so a lot of our beliefs that we have come up with are created from our childhood experiences. So we can, as an adult now, we can look back and we can choose for ourselves. Actually, I don't have to believe, that I was, too emotional as a child, or I don't have to believe that, I was lazy, or I don't have to believe that I was weak, or, whatever those things are, that I'm not lovable, right? I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. They're the big ones that a lot of us have. And they're just our childhood experiences and what those beliefs that we created in those deeply impactful moments. So we get to choose for ourselves as adults. And that's, that's the great part. That's the empowering part, that we can go, oh, actually, what do I want for my life? What do I want for myself? And how can I get that?
Yes, you're right. That is it's a wonderful place to be now, is to be able to choose for yourself what it is that you want. And then you do provide a method for them to go back to that trauma and to just redo it and get rid of it if you want to get rid of it. I mean, you can keep it if you want to, but we don't recommend it. But being able to have a way to get rid of it is absolutely fantastic. So for someone who's brand new to any energy healing, okay, now, and I don't know who that would be, because we've been doing energy healing for a while and it's been a mainstream conversation, which I'm really glad it finally is a mainstream conversation now.
Yeah,
yeah. Because before it really wasn't. People would look at people, but and that wasn't been all that long ago. That and they said, people were okay with massages, but then when they started talking about Reiki and even emotional freedom techniques, tapping techniques, I says, no, that doesn't work. It says, oh yeah, it works. So I'm so glad that we're at a point where we can talk about that. So if someone's new to energy healing, what's the best way for them to start exploring it?
I would try some meditation and see how that feels. And if you want something deeper, or if you're struggling with that, then reach out to a Reiki therapist or an energy healer and book a session and see what it's like.
I promise you, it won't hurt you. It'll be a lot of fun, as a matter of fact. And when your clients leave, what do they usually say to you about the sessions?
So most people, when they open their eyes, they're just a bit like surprised. If they've never had it before, like, a bit like, wow, that was amazing. Like, that was so good. I can't believe, I went to that level of connection in myself. And they just feel so relaxed. And like maybe a bit like spaced out as well, because we are on this internal journey. Like, it's like we've gone to space and come back and we've landed in our body and we'll woken up and we go, oh my god, where am I? Like, oh, that's right, I'm here. Oh, I gotta come back to reality now. So
that is true. Oh god. you say, oh, it's dark, or that's on, or we're doing what? I have to come back to reality. Yes, you're right. They do say. Yeah.
So it's just a beautiful experience. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we get to have it, drug free. There's like, drug and alcohol free. There's no need for any stimulants. It's just this beautiful natural experience that we can have. And we have access, we are a spiritual being. We have access to that inner journey anytime we want. It's just a matter of choosing if we want to go there or not.
So what can you leave with our listeners that would be an empowering message about healing? If you could leave that message, what would it be?
I normally say, so I'll say it anyway, to just be your own best friend.
Oh, that's great.
To speak kindly to yourself and to enjoy your life. So that is the 3 things that I normally say to people, but the question you asked is slightly different. So I'm just trying to, so I will leave you with this, that every pain or emotion that we have that comes up for us is an energetic charge that is showing up for us in our body that has some information, that has a message for us. Our body is always talking to us and it wants us to listen. It's like a child tugging at your skirt. You know, it's your energy, it's your spirit inside. It's going, hello, hello. I have this information for you. Are you awake? Are you listening? So start paying attention to what those things are, those signs, those symptoms, that pain, that emotion, you know, those negative thoughts. They're all signs and symptoms that we can start paying attention to. There's something there for us to learn.
You know, you're so right. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And that reminded me of once I have a friend who does some healing work, and I had a pain somewhere in my leg and nothing helped, right? And she had me touch the pain and tell the pain how much, and tell that part of the body how much I loved it and release anything. I thought, okay, this hurt, something's got to work, right? And it worked. And I said, oh my God. So now I make a practice when I get in the shower of telling every part of my body that I love it.
I love that. Beautiful.
And it's her fault. And it works. And I never, ever would have thought of that. And she says, yes, we have to be careful what we say about our bodies. Our bodies are listening. I said, oh my God. So that was like, okay, so the work that you do is absolutely fantastic. And people do need to do that work so that we can heal. So how can people come and get in contact with you?
Yep, it's through my website. So it's tonishealingroom.com.au.
Okay, say it again.
Things that I do.
Writing, I'm sure.
I have some free resources. I've got free meditations, free chakra balancing meditation. I have a free grounding workshop, and I have a free emotional freedom workshop as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I would like everyone listening to this to go out and try the free things. Because I know that some people are kind of skeptical, but it does work. I'm telling you, it does work. So try the free things first, and then let her know how it actually helped you, and then she can use that in that book that you're getting ready to write.
That's right.
Oh, so how often, and this is my last question, so how often should people come for healing treatments? Because some people just can't do it at home. And then I think some people like the activity of getting ready to go do it and get to have someone do it for them and to get themselves ready for that. And I think that that's part of some things that some people like to do too. So and Toni can help you with that part too. So you don't have to do it at home yourself. If you want her to do it, she can do that. So how do they get in touch with you again for that?
Through my website, tonishealingroom.com.au. And that's Toni with an I.
That's right. So it's Toni with an I. So remember that and reach out to her and get more information and actually try some of these. You don't have to try them all at once, but try something, and you'll be surprised how much it does work. It works so well for me that I'm surprised that you don't hear it all the time, and that doctors aren't prescribing this as something that you should do, because it really does help.
Yeah, it's so powerful, like meditation and Reiki healing and just tuning into your own energy and yourself and listening to your body. So powerful. And like we should be teaching young people and like everyone, not just our young people.
Yes. Well,
it's just what it does is it resets our nervous system, right? So it brings us back to a state of relaxation and balance, so that we can actually think clearly, we can make good decisions for ourselves, you know, and we can have more connection and more confidence in ourselves.
Well, I am glad you were a guest on my show today. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that the people who are listening have learned a lot, because we do need to find ways of taking care of our health that's outside of what some of the cultures have turned into, which is prescription pushers, and they just don't fix it. They just cause other problems. So we need to figure out ways that we can fix the stress and fix the trauma that's actually shows up in our health. And this is a great way. So thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie.
And we've got to let me know when you write that book, because that's going to be incredibly interesting. So, so for those of you who are listening, get in touch with Toni Stevens. She does have a great website. She can help you through some things, or help you make some decisions about which technique you think is best for you. So as we close, I'm going to remind you all to be inspired and to further notice. I want you to celebrate everything. And may this day offer you just what you need in each unfolding moment. Trust your greatness. I want you to embrace your power. I want you to also be inspired and to further notice, just celebrate everything, like I said, and like the song that I play says, just celebrate everything, okay? Be the person that you are waiting for. Make today so awesome that yesterday gets jealous. And above all else, I want you to do it your way. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor. And as I always say, with the right pair of shoes, I can accomplish anything. I want you guys to go forth, live your best life. And remember, life is far too short to drink cheap champagne. With that, we're going to say good night.
Good night.
Greetings, I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor. And I want to talk a little bit about my brand new book, Unlock Your Potential. Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you work, you're overlooked, you're underestimated, or just plain exhausted from proving yourself day in and day out. I've been there, and I know just how frustrating it is to watch others rise while you keep hitting invisible barriers, and barriers of bias and self-doubt in a system that wasn't even built for you. But here's the truth. The power to break through is already in you. You just need the right tools, the right mindset and strategy to take what's yours. That's why I wrote Unlock Your Potential, Overcoming Bias, Uplift Your Career, and Transform Your Life. This isn't just another leadership book. It is your roadmap to breaking barriers, to building confidence, and stepping into the success you desire. No more waiting, no more playing small. Your next level is calling. Are you ready to answer? Grab your copy of Unlock Your Potential today and start transforming your life. Have a great day. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor, and as I always say, life is too short to drink cheap champagne. Life's too short to drink cheap champagne, so I decided to buy me a better brand to taste with my strawberries. What a high, lemon bubbles in the sky, on the beach with bluebirds.